Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've got some breaking news from the White House about President Trump's plans to eliminate federal income taxes, and some of the developments might surprise you. We're diving into the latest updates on overtime income, Social Security benefits, and whether this tax elimination will impact tip earners. You'll want to stay tuned because there are a lot of crucial details to break down, and this could impact millions of Americans. Plus, I'll also be discussing some limits and exclusions that are coming into play as part of the new proposal. So let's get right into it. And if you enjoy these daily updates, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more updates like this. Now, we've all heard President Trump's call for a massive overhaul of the U.S. tax system. His ultimate goal? Eliminate all federal income taxes. Yes, you heard that right. No more income taxes for anyone. While this sounds like a game changer, there are still plenty of details to be worked out. Today, we're going to break down the latest changes and discuss what we know about the federal income tax elimination plan, especially if you're earning overtime, receiving Social Security benefits, or making tips. Let's dive into how this is all shaping up. So what's the deal with this tax elimination? Here's where things get interesting. A new bill is being worked on that would eliminate federal income taxes for individuals making less than $200,000 a year. But here's the kicker. It's not as open-ended as President Trump's original vision. The new proposal coming out of the Republican camp includes some limits and exclusions that could affect millions of Americans. Specifically, this tax-free plan is targeting overtime income, tips, and Social Security benefits. But there's a catch. Let's talk about overtime income first. Originally, President Trump's plan was a broad, open-ended promise to eliminate federal taxes on overtime pay. But now we're seeing some clarifications. According to a report from the Wall Street Journal, the new proposal would exclude top earners from benefiting. So, if your adjusted gross income is over $100,000 as an individual, or over $200,000 for married couples, you won't be able to claim this tax exemption. But for those who qualify, the proposal caps the amount of overtime income that can be tax-free at $10,000 for individuals and $20,000 for married couples. So, for example, if you're earning overtime and your income from overtime is under these caps, you'll be able to keep all that extra cash without worrying about taxes. Now, you might be wondering, what happens if you make more than $10,000 in overtime or $20,000 as a married couple? Unfortunately, we don't have all the details yet on whether that excess income will be taxed at a regular rate or if there will be other exemptions or deductions. This is something lawmakers are still discussing, so stay tuned for more updates as we learn more. But the bottom line is that there are limits now that weren't part of President Trump's initial open-ended promise. Let's see how this develops. Now, let's move on to a topic that impacts millions of seniors and people receiving disability benefits: Social Security. As part of President Trump's proposal, there was also talk about eliminating federal taxes on Social Security benefits. The question is, will this actually happen? Again, we're seeing that the open-ended plan is now becoming more limited. While it's still being discussed, it looks like there could be caps on the amount of Social Security benefits that would be tax-free. This is something that's still in the works, but there's a real possibility that if you're living off of Social Security or SSDI, your benefits could be untaxed or taxed at a much lower rate than we're seeing now. However, the real question is, how will lawmakers make sure that this doesn't cause a huge loss in tax revenue? We've already seen proposals for temporary tax cuts to offset the loss in revenue, and the Trump administration is relying heavily on tariffs to help fill in that gap. Tariffs, or taxes on imports, are currently bringing in billions of dollars. If they can show that tariffs will work to replace income tax revenue, the White House could push for even further tax cuts for the American people. However, if tariffs don't work as expected, this whole plan could fall apart, and we may be stuck with income taxes for the foreseeable future. As the Wall Street Journal recently mentioned, Republicans are trying to figure out how to make this work without losing too much revenue. The big challenge right now is deciding which groups of people will actually benefit and who will be excluded. And let's not forget that the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is still the centerpiece of these discussions. This act is set to expire in 2025, meaning that if no action is taken, taxes for all Americans will go up. And I'm not just talking about the wealthy. Taxes for everyone could increase by as much as 2% to 4% across the board. So, in order to avoid a tax hike, President Trump and his administration are pushing to extend these tax cuts and make them permanent. The goal is to keep taxes low for everyone and avoid that looming tax increase after 2025. President Trump has made it clear that his ultimate goal is to eliminate all federal income taxes, but only if the tariffs work out. This is really a trial and error situation, and we're seeing how the Trump administration is trying to balance the budget while cutting taxes for all Americans. But, as we saw with the new proposal, there will be limits and caps on who gets to benefit and what income qualifies. All right, there you have it. The latest update on President Trump's plan to eliminate federal income taxes and the limitations that are being added into the new bill. This could be a huge shift in the way we look at taxes in this country, but it's still a work in progress. So what do you think? Will these new caps make a difference for you? Let me know in the comments below, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more updates. I'll be sure to bring you the latest news as we learn more about these developments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.